We're going to take a short walk. We have a tree we're walking to, and we want to tell you why we're doing that on our way there. What we believe is that as people, as humans, we very much need to be connected to our food.
Okay, so it didn't say organic, so I looked her in the eye and I said, do you use pesticides? And she says, absolutely not, and they were raised in a greenhouse. So I looked my farmer in the eye. This lovely pot is full of interesting items for turkey brine. So it's actually the Pioneer Woman's from the TV recipe. So it's got organic orange peels and rosemary that I got out in my kitchen garden, and bay leaves and peppercorns, and then I've got an organic unfiltered apple cider in there, and water, filtered water, and 2 cups of, okay, so a cup and a half of salt, and then it's got 2 cups of sugar, and I don't like sugar. I don't like to put sugar in. There we go. But I use coconut sugar, and I'm really trying to have, supposedly what happens with the brine is that it changes the molecules of the turkey. This is one of the turkeys that we had, and our first one was a little bit tough, like the ones when we used to do Cornish cross, and we don't do Cornish cross anymore. We do a different breed. But these turkeys are the equivalent of a Cornish cross. So I'm doing this to brine it to see if it'll make it tender. We actually processed one of our turkeys this morning. It ended up being 15 pounds after we processed it. It grew faster than the others and had some leg problems and was really not getting around. And so we helped it get out of its misery this morning. And are excited to try this brining recipe and see how it works, because it has to do it for 16 to 24 hours, so it's noon now, so tomorrow I'll put it in the roaster and we'll see how it goes. So we put this in a brining bag and stuck it into this plastic container, and you're supposed to brine with the breast side down first. And so we did, and I brined it overnight, and now we pulled it out of the refrigerator to turn it over, and guess what? The bag has broke. So now we have a mess. Jim's cleaning up the refrigerator like such a good boy. And I'm gonna turn this over, but obviously I've got to get it into a different container. But I wanted to show you, it's got the lemon, the orange peels, and the peppercorns, and the bay leaves. It's, and you know what? Yesterday I took like a spoonful of the brine, and you would think, ooh, that's nasty. It was so good, so good. Okay. So I put it in a large pot. We re-put it into a different bag. Have turned it upside down so the part that didn't have the brine before does have some brine. And I'm going to stick it back into the refrigerator. Well, it is the next day, and I have the turkey, and I'm going to pull it out. It's been brining for well over 24 hours, because its actual 24-hour mark would have been in the evening, and I wasn't going to cook it last night. And so I'm going to pull it out right now, and I'm going to rinse off all of the brine water from it very, very well. So that's what I'm doing now. So see if I can pick this big thing up, because my husband isn't here right now. You can see the oranges and the bay leaves and everything. So you want to rinse it really, really well to get all of the brine off. Someday I'll get a better faucet. But for now, I'm thankful for what I have. I'm going to put it in my roaster, so I'll be right back with that roaster. So I'm going to cover the whole bird with butter. And I'm using this roaster, and what the roaster says to do is to take this pan out of the roaster and heat it as high as that roaster can go for about 30 minutes. And then when I put this in, it will sear it, just really like, seal in all the juices. And then I turn it down to 325, 350 and let it cook. And you do not lift the lid at all. You're not allowed to lift the lid because you're not allowed to put any water in it because it comes in its own juices. And so we're gonna see if this works. I'm putting fresh rosemary and basil, just sticking it right inside. Because it's already been brined, I'm not sure I'm adding a lot more seasoning to it because it had a lot in there, and I'm just gonna see what it does. So we'll try it. Here we go. It has been 3 hours and 45 minutes for my 14 or 15-pound turkey, and I cooked it in this roaster. And I read the directions, and it said what you do is heat this up to as high as it can go for 30 minutes before you put the turkey in. Then put the turkey in, put the lid on for 30 minutes. Then turn it down to 350 or 325. What did I put it at? 350. And do not lift the lid at all. Once the bird goes in there during that 30 minutes, everything, do not lift the lid. So I'm about to lift the lid.
We're going to take a short walk. We have a tree we're walking to, and we want to tell you why we're doing that on our way there. What we believe is that as people, as humans, we very much need to be connected to our food. And in this modern society, we tend to want to distance ourselves from our food source.
It comes from the store.
We buy it at the store. It comes in cartons, comes in boxes, and real food doesn't. If you're going to eat real food, somebody has to kill something, whether it's an animal or a plant, in order for you to eat real food. And as hard as that is, we believe to truly appreciate your food and be connected to it, you need to be part of that process, or at least very much aware of what that process is. And the closer you are to that, the better you can appreciate your food for what it was, the better you'll take care of it, the better you'll prepare it, the less of it you'll throw away. And our experience is the more you'll enjoy it when you do consume it, as you understand what it took, the sacrifice it took.
This tree is the tree that we have chosen to process our turkeys on and our chickens. And so we walk them down here and we hang the cone here. And it's been a really sobering experience for Jim to kill them. It's very hard every time. We do it in the same way, in the kosher way, where we slit their throat and let them die and breathe as they're dying. And it's very, very hard for us to stand here and watch it happen. And
it's not brutal, it's not chaotic, it is
sacred.
It's death, but it's much more sacred. Important to realize, and we appreciate it in any form, and for what it does for us, and the healthiness that we get from it. And we certainly, as we eat it, we enjoy the flavor, and we also think about what went into that, the sacrifice that went into that, and truly appreciate what we have and the nutrition we're getting from it.
It's not golden brown, super tender. This part's golden down here. Fall off the bone. I don't really care if it's golden brown, but I do care how it tastes, so. Okay, we're done. So, from the baby to raising it, to taking it out to the tree, to bringing it back in and taking care of it in an appropriate way, and then putting it in ice and brining it and sticking it in here, we know where this food came from, and that's a good thing. But we are connected to the food, and today it finished cooking and it's absolutely delicious, and we appreciate it.
Well,
we didn't put our heads in the sand and say we don't know where it came from, we don't want to think about it. We appreciate it.